all working together and in it together. That's what is like the marker for me.
Do you prefer, because during the 90s you were labeled the indie darling along with others, but do you prefer working on an independent film and like how is that experience different from you, other than the obvious budget differences and constraints?
I do like it because and I think a lot of people like it. And because I think when you get down to it, most people in this profession have a collaborative, bone. They just do, or they wouldn't be in the freaking business. And I think that whenever someone is sort of feels needed and important and valued, and that we're all working for a greater good, I think people like that. And I just experienced on this other thing I just done called Freaks Underground. And you know, even though it was like a studio, the studio was not like the directors had full control. And even one of the crew guys said, he said he's been working on big stuff, and this is the first smaller thing he's worked on. And it was like, he said it was so fun. He said he was having the best time because he was getting to be creative. He was special effects. He was getting to be creative, and it was like, and everybody was having a blast because the directors loved, they valued everybody there.
Right. Well, one film you were in during the 90s was 1995's Four Rooms. I have had Alicia Witt on this podcast. We had a nice little chat about that. But you were in a witch coven, and there was another woman in the film named Madonna. So, I mean, as a self-respecting gay man, I mean, I do bow to the altar that is Madonna. So, what was that like working with Madonna?
Okay, well, so here's the thing is I had met Madonna when I was um 12 because my sister was dancing with her at University of Michigan when she had the brown hair and she was thin. I don't know if you remember that phase she went through.
Uh-huh.
She didn't look anything like she didn't, does now. Anyway, I met Madonna because I wanted to go visit my sister at Michigan. And I do, and I'm not just saying this, I remember her because she was very intense. Like, and I'm not surprised that she's who she is because she had that feeling then. Not a surprise. But then what happened is then my sister and her lived together in New York, starting out dancing. And then my sister said, "Do you remember Madonna?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, look." And she showed her the postcard that Madonna had sent out for holiday, you know. And I was like, "Oh my God. Whoa, wow." Boom, there you go. Madonna's off. Well, when I saw her, we got along really well. I actually didn't tell her I met her because it doesn't matter. Like, she's had so many people. I can't even imagine how many people she said that. It doesn't matter. She's bored by that. I don't need to tell her. I guess what? I met you and who cares? I know it. But we got along really well. Because she also saw like, I'm, look, I'm not gonna fucking be a doormat. I know you're powerful, but I'm also gonna fucking, it's like, I respect you, but I'm not going to be a doormat. So we got along really well. She knew, okay, she's cool. I'm not going to fuck with her.
I could see all that. And back then at Michigan, same thing as Julia, you were just like, I could tell this girl is
Oh,
going
completely.
places.
That girl was like, yeah, that girl is, yeah, come on, it's Madonna.
Well, also you would think, this was 1995, so she was Madonna by then. I agree. Oh, when I meet people in the real world, I go to like a lot of celebrity conventions. I never really say, sometimes people stare at me and I'm like, yes, but I never say to someone, you were on my podcast. We had a
Yeah,
great
right.
time. I'm just like, it's, if it comes up, great, but I agree with you. I'm just like, you hear this all the time. We all meet a lot of people. But in a
Right.
way, you think you were more of like you were the actress. Madonna has been criticized about her acting throughout her career. So in a way, you would think she's coming into this film like humble, like ready to work, right? Because she's not an
I
act.
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say humble. Um, because, and I mean, that's why she's Madonna. That's really not I, a word for her, I don't think. But yeah, I'm sure she had a level of she wasn't in her wheelhouse, and I was. Just like I would feel that if I went on stage and sang a song with her.
Right. Well, you mentioned, you were I'm not one to be fucked with. Like, this is a real job. Like, do you get starstruck because you've been in the business forever? You work with so many people, just in general, not with Madonna, but just like, are you the type that gets starstruck when you meet someone?
Not really. Not really. If anything, I would have like reverence or something. Or like deep kind of like thank you on a deep level. But I don't really feel star maybe if met Obama, you know what I mean? Like someone like that, like kind of like more of a like an archetype, like that sort of thing. But not really.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really, per se, with a few exceptions, either after just doing this on a much smaller scale. I totally get it. Well, the highlight, for me, this will be the self-indulgent part of our chat. I mean, I shot Andy Warhol. I mean, I can't even. Phenomenal, brilliant. Lily, you were everything. Valerie Solanas, I saw it in the theater at the crack of dawn. It was like the first show at the Angelica, and there was nobody in the theater. I was with like one other person, like blown away. Let me just say
Hmm.
that.
Oh,
What was that experience like?
it was amazing. Now that was the one I usually say that one first when people say what was one of your favorite roles, but you didn't quite ask that. You said, but that was really probably my favorite experience. And part of it's because Mary Herron and I kind of created her together because there was like nothing written about her. There was the Scum Manifesto, and she was in 2 pages in a book about feminism and the fucking revolution. I don't know what. She was 2 pages. Nothing was written about that woman. And so Mary did all this research. And so, it was at the peak of the 90s in the sense of, you know, no one ever questioned Mary casting me. uh we were we you had Christine Vachon, who was leading the way and giving us what we needed. It was recreating the 60s. Like the set production designer was amazing. Everything looked authentic. It was the friggin' best. It was the best.
Is it harder than when you play someone real? Or I guess in this
Yes.
situation, it is.
Yeah, not as much here because nobody really knew. I got shit from people who did know her, but I didn't have a pressure, unlike, for instance, um what's his name went through with Dylan, which I thought he did amazing, and that's not easy. Um, I'm just blanking on his name because I'm older and there's a lot of shit in the head. But like I was gonna play Janis Joplin. Like we had all the Janis Joplin stuff with Nancy Savoca years ago, and we had everything except Mercedes Benz. We even had her sister's kudos, which isn't easy. But honestly, I was concerned because that's a lot different. That's a lot different. And I really didn't want to do it unless I really feel the best way is for the actor to to get to the essence, to not work because